Let's try something a little more challenging or complex to do with this capability of FMAI paste. Let's come back to our demo file, and let's say I wanted to build an entire script from scratch. I'm still going to create a rather simplistic scenario. Let's see. What I've done, first of all, is I've run a manual save a copy as XML process, and I've got the output XML file right there. So first I'm going to do, oops, let me get this over here. I'm going to feed that into Claude. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a utility that allows me to speak my prompts. When I'm working with AI, sometimes it's easier to just verbally speak my prompts. They're usually a little less precise, but I find that overall I'm more communicative and convey more overall context. So let's see here. What should I have it do? Using this XML file for context, please create a new script for me that will find all invoices with a value of greater than $2,000. I didn't give it a great deal of information. If we were doing any real practical work, I probably would have, at a minimum, given it a lot more details or possibly fed it a spec sheet of outlined actions, but this should give it some good information to move forward on. So let's commit that and have it do its thing. So it's thinking, and notice it's reading that script design skill to find some guidelines on what it should be doing. And it's inventorying the uploaded file. It's looking through that. Yeah, let's just give it a moment. Okay, we jumped forward half a minute to a minute there, and it analyzed the XML file for context, and then it gave us the following script. Normally at this point, I would spend some time going through it step by step, at least recognizing the major structure, make sure it looked logical. I'm not going to worry about it for our demo here. It gives us a few notes afterwards, and I think it looks good. Let's go ahead and have it convert to FMXML. So I'll just again verbally speak that. Convert to FMXML. And let's give that another moment. Okay, and we jumped forward. That took a little over a minute to do. And here is our script FMXML. Similar to what we saw when creating the comments, it's given us a few additional notes as it was working. And I could again open it in a text editor if I wanted to, but let's just go ahead and move forward, copy that. Let me jump over to FileMaker, and I want to create a new snippet. I'm going to paste that FMXML in there. I'm going to copy it. And then let's come over here to our script workspace and paste. And there is our AI-generated script. At a quick glance, it looks like it's doing what it should. It even inserted some helpful comments for us. And I'm also scanning through to see if anything looks a little odd, if there are unreferenced elements, like a field missing or layout missing sort of thing, or if any lines are highlighted by FileMaker as having some sort of error in the settings. Nothing is standing out. Of course, this is a very simple script. It's always good, however, to thoroughly test anything that's AI generated at this stage. Because of the method we're using, we can bypass some of FileMaker's inbuilt error trapping mechanisms. And so we want to really be confident before we deploy anything that's AI generated in a real world solution. But it looks like it's done its thing. How about that? So far, I've been focusing on building scripts or modifying scripts with this FMAI paste method. But you can really use this methodology for any of the FileMaker schema elements that you can just copy and paste natively within FileMaker. So you can do it for fields or entire tables if you want as well. Custom functions, you can even do it with layout objects as well. That one is challenging because of the level of code involved. Let's, for now, focus on creating a table. So let's come back over to Claude here, and I'm going to use my verbal command again. Claude, please create a FileMaker table for purchase orders. Give me standard fields that would be common in a purchase orders table, as well as some basic housekeeping fields. So obviously, this is not the way you would normally approach a proper structured design. I would normally feed a design spec in, or at a minimum, give a fairly coherent list of what I want. But I'm just leaving it open-ended to show that Claude can do a fair amount of logical thinking around this as well. So let's go ahead and run that. And in a second, it will access some of the skills. First of all, reading the table field design skill. Okay, let's give it a moment to do that. Okay, that took maybe a little less than 30 seconds, and it's given us a readable version of its proposed fields within the table. I'm just kind of lightly scanning it. I'm not particularly trying to troubleshoot here, though normally I would do a very careful review of this. And it's got a few notes after. Let's assume that's good. And let's now have it convert to FMXML. And let's give it a moment or two to complete that process. Okay, and here's our FMXML code for the table with all its fields. And you can see that each little chunk has each field has its XML definition, similar to what we were seeing with the script steps. In most cases, the field's XML is simpler than what you'll see in the script XML here. I don't really need to look at it in depth. I'm going to copy it and again jump over to FileMaker where I have my FM clipboard tool. I am going to paste that right in here, and I am going to copy it to the clipboard in the proper format. And then I'm going to come over to Manage Database, and here's our tables, and I'm just going to paste in our purchase orders. And there we go. We have all of those fields. We probably have even some comments. We do have some field comments there as well. The one thing I'll point out is we've got our purchase orders TO just automatically there. The one very significant limitation of this FMAI paste method is that just as you can't copy and paste elements from the relationship graph between files, you can't therefore generate FMXML for a relationship and paste that in. Relationships you still have to manually create. Really, virtually everything else, even in a limited way, layout objects can be done with the FMAI paste method. I want to point out a couple of things, however. That limitation, first of all, does not apply in another method we're going to look at soon that I've called the FMAI patch method. So you have paste and you have patch. And patch opens up a lot of possibilities that are closed to us in the paste method. But the paste method is focused and allows us to work with simple chunks of code that we can just paste right in a targeted way. It's very handy. It's what a lot of the AI tools that are emerging use in some variation, possibly combined with some other nifty capabilities as well. So this is what is going on with one of the main methods for using AI to generate FileMaker code and get it directly into your solutions. I hope you have some fun exploring it. Take a look at the online tech brief on our blog that gives you even more details, and explore, but always explore responsibly, because we are at the cutting edge of what's possible, and some of our own safety nets that FileMaker normally sets up for us, we're bypassing. So we need to be especially careful and aware when we're using these techniques. But it's extremely powerful and opens up a lot of possibilities capabilities for us as we step into this new AI era of FileMaker development. Thanks a lot.